welcome everybody to the Hoop Chat. The Hoop Chat. Excited about this topic right here, dog. Let's go.
I learned how to win in college.
Process, right?
Absolutely. Separate the men from the boys. It will separate the real from the fake. It will separate the committed from the uncommitted, who really loves the game and who really don't.
Your network equals your net worth. 25 years of experience.
Like, oh, man, yeah, let's get to work. Let's get to work.
Yo, and we are back.
Yes, sir.
We are back, man. Happy New Year to everybody. You already know who it is. It's your boy, Coach Nelly. It's been a minute.
We're gonna talk about all that.
All that. So just want to start off, man, wishing all you guys, hope your New Year's going well so far. I hope any goals that anybody has set so far for this year, you guys are taking those steps to make those goals and dreams happen, man. It's a daily process. We're still in January, so I hope that's not discouraging anybody if they're not seeing results yet. Just believe that, you're doing the right things. And if you are taking those steps to get to where you want to be, then I promise you will get there.
Yeah, and some of y'all not. So some of y'all just made vision boards and y'all made goals for 2021, and it's January 24th and you ain't done none of them yet. So I'm just going to say to those who haven't done anything, hold yourself accountable, and making those necessary changes. Because while it is early in January, it could easily be June, and you could be looking back at that vision board saying it's 6 months gone and I ain't done nothing yet. So hold yourself accountable, start taking those things down, and attempting to change and create that vision for yourself going forward.
Amen.
I didn't want to start off the new year being negative, but I just gotta be.
Nah, right. I like it, man. I give you the positive side. He tells you what it is if you don't do it. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. 2021. I don't got time for games. Either you working towards what you want or you're not. You're just saying you are.
That's a fact. Now we got a jam-packed, show where we trying to, give you guys again continuous good content, but we also would be remiss if we did not address our absence and our hiatus. So we want to make sure that those people that are following us are in tune with some of the things that are going on in our lives. Some of those things have been challenging, and some of those things are some things that we needed to take some time to assess and make sure that when we get back to these airwaves that we are able to do that in a way in which we really thought out those things that have transpired and ready to articulate to you viewers and our viewership as to those different things that have changed. So I want to give my brethren the right platform, the right space, and a safe space to address the absence and why we haven't been able to put out the content on a consistent basis that you guys look forward to, and we owe that to y'all. So without a further ado, let them know what the deal is, man, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. So
my fault, little technical difficulties. Computer was acting up and freezing, but man, like you said, man, normally when we start this show, I usually give you the rundown of, Coach Nelly, owner of Wayne's World and head coach at Winslow High School Township. But, part of the reason of the absence for me not being here, is that, I'm no longer the head coach at Winslow Township basketball, high school, sorry. And Crazy, man. Crazy situation. Um, Here I was at a school for 4 years, going into my fifth season. Um, and from a basketball competitive standpoint, I have consistently been a team to compete every season and consistently put my team in position to make a run in the playoffs every year.
And I want,
Um,
as you continue, I want to cut you up. I want you to
do that. Ask questions, poke, probe. Like,
listen, man. I think I want to let you go ahead, but then I want to get into some numbers, right? Some
okay,
specifics, some hardcore facts that again, to round out the vision for people that may not understand what you really are articulating to them. So they can kind of get the gravity of what's really going on here and what you're trying to talk about. So go ahead. I want you to get an overview, and then I'm gonna get into asking you some questions,
okay.
you
Oh.
numbers for these people.
So like I said, man, just putting my team in position to be competitive every year. Now for you to of those of you that don't know about Winslow Township, and the conference that we play in, I mean, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, we play in the toughest conference in South Jersey. And we're competing against schools like Camden, who, this year is ranked number 7th in the country. Bishop Eustace, Camden Catholic, Cherry Hill East. I mean, all these schools that are consistently ranked in the top schools in South Jersey every year, and some of these schools that we have to play 2 times a year, Now, with that being said, the location of Winslow has always allowed schools like Bishop Eustace, Camden Catholic, St. Augustine Prep, St. Joe's, because it's almost like in 30-minute directions each and every way. Here these schools lie, and they're able to come and take kids away. So you're battling that every year, but yet you're trying to find a way to be competitive for what you got.
No excuses.
Um,
No excuses.
no excuses, no excuses. So with that, you know, I've worked hard to just be competitive. So, in the 4 years that I've been there, we've always competed and had respect throughout the conference. And we've always would have signature wins, whether it was knocking a Bishop Eustace off, or going into Shawnee and beating Shawnee. Like, these are signature wins in South Jersey, against programs that have been established for 30 plus years, that have been there for a while. Like, you know what I mean? So, and then with that being said, also too, that always put us in position to be ready and battle tested in playoff. Like I said, in 4 years, I've never missed a playoff. And my whole coaching career, I was approaching on my 9th year this year. Every program and every team that I've led, I'm a playoff team. No excuses. Whatever you got, you make it work, and you find a way to get in. Right. But lost my train of thought. But even having the ability to compete with schools like, say we're playing at Camden Catholic, and yeah, you might look in the scoreboard or in the score sheet and see, that they lost by 25. But not knowing that, man, we might have only been down 4 at the first quarter, down 9 at halftime. Like, those are battles for us. Those are small wins for us, because we're looking at these schools like, you're supposed to smack us, right? You have the talent to bury us, but one, we don't have anything to lose. So we coming in balls to the wall, give you everything we got. And we're going to put pressure on you. And you might sleep. You might sleep for a little bit until you get punched a few times. Like, yo, these kids is here to play, And so if you're a basketball person, right, if you understand how that works and you're watching and you're paying attention to what was going on at Winslow, you would know that, one, a program was being established. 2, that they were a competitive program. And 3, for the most part, right, successful. Now, unfortunately, the powers that be, right, people that I've never seen at games, maybe one time, maybe we played the rivals, they show up for that game, but you don't see them at practices, people that you don't see at multiple games, 5, 6 games, right? So, the powers that be decided, well, we don't want you here no more. I don't want you here no more, right? And, if you want to start breaking down the numbers,
I would like you to do that.
um,
In your first year, what were you able to do in your first year?
so my first year, and I have to make this this point first before we get into that, right? So I need to let the people know how I got the job at Winslow, and it was because the prior person, the prior coach, had quit, right? And that was, and I'm coming from 2 years at Cedar Creek High School, right? So a position opened up where it was, in my eyes, like, and first of all, huge shout out to Cedar Creek and giving me the opportunity to even be a high school head coach, right? And
Mr.
huh?
McGee.
Yeah, Mr. McGee, man, great dude. Mike McGee, great dude. Congratulations, he is now the principal at Oakcrest.
Fantastic.
But and giving me the platform to bring you, my brother, along for the ride, and we were able to establish something there. So coming from that, and when Winslow job opened up, in my eyes, it was just an opportunity to take a step up, and be in a more competitive conference and play bigger schools, and
That opportunity.
just be able to be in a better situation, opportunity basketball wise. So that's how that job came to be. Guy quit, and my ties with Winslow even go deeper with that because coaching AAU, I've had multiple Winslow players, and so
How many of those? We're talking numbers.
four
We got four.
Winslow kids. I think I had. Let's see, Mike, Dev. Yeah, four.
Okay.
Mike, Dev, Manny,
Manny, I remember Manny. Yeah.
and Bobby.
Right.
Those are 4 kids that I've had, and Mike and Dev and Manny were 2 kids that I coached even before coming and even knowing about Winslow, right? So
rapport with some of those kids that were a part of that program, but you weren't obviously attached to that program in that type of coaching capacity. You were AAU coach running in
right,
kids and working with these kids. So
right.
forward, boom, opportunity opens. You step in. What
Right.
you taking?
And mind you, too, when I'm stepping in, I'm coming into a program that is coming off back-to-back South Jersey Group 3 championships, right? And but they never had great seasons, right? I mean, record-wise. And again, it could be conference, whatever that you playing. They didn't have great seasons. They got hot in the playoffs. So what matters, right? You want to win in the playoffs. But they were also had a lot of talented kids. I was also coming into a program that had just won 2 back-to-back South Jersey chips with potentially 4 Division I athletes and size. They were big. That team had 6'9", 266, 6'5", point guard 6'4". So they're a really big team, And in high school, when you got size like that mixed with Division I athletes, you're gonna find some success, right? So this is what I was stepping into, and now year one, it's some kids that were left over from those teams, and my 2 seniors that I had actually were a part of both championships. So that was a plus in my eyes, just having 2 kids that understand what it took to win at that level, right? To get to that point. But the season didn't even start off that well, to be honest with you. We were 3-8. 3-8. And even with those 2 kids, it was a bunch of other kids that had no experience. And, it's like, all right, what can I do at this point? Right? We're gonna keep battling, and yeah, like when I came in, we're gonna play. We're gonna play people. Like our Christmas tournament, where we go. We went up to North Jersey, and we're gonna play North Jersey teams because I don't want to be around teams around here. I want to get out. I want you to see what it's like outside of South Jersey, right? And I mean, we weren't playing the best of the best in North Jersey, but we played some pretty decent teams. And I think that's something me and you established when we went to Cedar Creek. I think we took them to New York, right? I mean, to up to North Jersey tournament, Christmas tournament.
No,
So you
wow, but that was I got you hooked up with that up north here.
okay,
Yeah, I didn't do I wasn't a part of that. That was you
okay.
and
Um, so yeah, we start that season started out 3-8,
I,
right? So
I play up here in the Christmas tournament.
yeah, and
That's all. We get into 3-8. Now what happens? Where we going?
I'm like, yo, I need a kid. I need a kid. I need somebody in here because I'm lacking a certain player, right? And it just so happened that the kid that I got to transfer in, Jordan Herring, had just, you know, he wanted to leave the school he was at. I had met Jordan a couple summers prior, just through some, workouts and things like that. So he already knew me. I already knew him. Um, actually played against, coached against him when he was at St. Joe's. So, just being familiar with each other and, him having some history at Winslow with his dad coming from Winslow area and being a well-known baseball player. So it was like almost like the writing on the wall, like, come here, like you should come here, you help us out. And it was what we needed. It was what we needed. He brought a certain toughness. Um, he was a dog, and that started to permeate throughout the team. And once that happened, practices were crazy. They were always competitive. Um, and then there was just no turning back from that. And when that happened, we went from 3-8, and we finished the season. Our final record was, the look on the wall, 18-12. Right, so we go 15-4 the rest of the way. And we won the South Jersey Championship, and it's crazy. That's even crazier because we were the 8th seed, and being the 8th seed, we ended up having the championship on our home floor, right? Because we went out and knocked the number 1 seed out, right? All right, let's get them out of here. You know how that works. It messes up the whole bracket, and it just turns out that we played a lower seed in the finals, which actually is Timber Creek, who was our rival. So we get to play our rivals on our home court, right? What's better than that after starting 3-8, right? And we won that for the South Jersey Championship. And we were 1 3-pointer rimming in and out from going to the state final game. We lost to a really good Union team and had one of my best players, Sid, hit a shot that he could hit 9 out of 10 times, and it rimmed in and out. That we lose by 4. He hits that shot, we go up 2 with less than 12 seconds left. It just things don't work out sometimes, but we were able to win a championship. So that's year 1. That's year 1, bro. And now the rest of the years weren't as successful, but again, next year we were knocked out in the semifinals. We won 12 games. The following year we won 11 games. We lost in the first round to Timber Creek, who had smacked us both times in the beginning of the season. And we lose to them on a buzzer shot, and then last year was my worst year, and we have 5 wins. It was my worst coaching year, period. But it happens. You coach, things happen, things out of your control. I mean, I can't tell you how many. I might be able to count how many times that I had my full team on the court for games. You know what I mean? Like, we dealt with injuries, things like that. So, but hey, yeah, we still managed to knock off a top ranked team that last year, and we were able to make the playoffs.
So
And
what I wanna move into is that's the coaching aspect of things. What I've done on court, XOs, all that stuff. What are
right.
what are the other things that your program or what you have done within that time period to provide value to not only just your players but other students who you may interact with?
Um, I mean, I've always had that mindset, right? That I am going to, if I'm going to be around individuals, and so be it that it's young, yeah. Well, I mean, in the school system, so it's the youth, right? That I'm going to touch your life in some way, right? So that's always been my mantra. So, I've always put myself in the situation because, yeah, I did work at the school, and I'm just real. I keep it real with whoever I talk to. And, you know, kids would kids just like to they like to be around, like listen, I mean, I would have relationships with normal students that will come into the library every day to talk to me. Yo, what's up, coach? Just came to check on you. It's my lunch period. It was good. What's going on? Like, oh, I got this situation going on. What you think? You know, and just come to check on me. So I already know my impact was always bigger than basketball. You know what I mean? Like I made an impact on that school, bro. Like, um, but if you want to on the sports tip, like the GPA coming in was terrible, right? That team that won South Jersey the year before had a kid that at one point had Oregon looking at him. His GPA wasn't high enough. His SAT wasn't high enough. And yeah, there's some onus on the kid and the parent, but there's also onus on the coach when you have that responsibility of having that type of kid in your hands, right? Then you got to be a little bit more harder, and you got to be set up a little bit more structure for him so he could be successful, right? Um, so coming in, that team GPA was terrible. Those even the team that I won with, the habits of they had was bad, right? So I knew I had to change that, like, because these kids, right, weren't ready to transition into college. All of them had to go to JUCOs because the grades they was never able to transition into a 4-year university. You know what I mean? You gotta take the long route, and it's just because they weren't prepared academically. So, when I instantly came in, it's like, yo, we have a study hall every day. I don't know what you did prior, but we're having study hall every day. And it just worked out because we got out of school at a certain time. It was perfect, right? You got to study hall for an hour every day. It allowed them to go see teachers if needed because the teachers will always stay after until the first bus. So that was like 45 minutes after school. So any work, they had no excuse. If you're missing work, go to a teacher and ask them what you need to do to make it up. If you don't understand something, go see a teacher. And then now you got the time to do your work because you and I both know when you get home after practice, you don't feel like doing that. I ain't trying to do no homework. I want to eat, then I'm going to get tired and shower. Like, that's just the life of an athlete. So if you can provide that opportunity before, right, now they can see you can see some changes. And I mean, going into this year, bro, like I told you, their GPA might have been a low 2.0 as a team, the low 2.0s, 2.1, 2.2. Like going into this year when, the report cards came out, our team GPA was a 3.2. Even last year it was might not have been as high, but it was pretty good. Like, so that structure was being set. Like kids knew, like, come to study hall. It got to a point where I didn't even gotta repeat myself. Like you come in, you're supposed to sign the paper if you're going out to a teacher. So I know where you are. You sit down, you do your work. If you don't got no work for the day and your grades are straight, just sit down and be quiet. You know what I mean? Go on your phone, do whatever. Some of them will go see the trainer, whatever. Like, they started understanding that time, you know what I mean? And then because the consequence for me was if your grades ain't straight and it's a constant thing, right, and you're not handing work in, then you're not going to play or there's going to be some type of consequence on the court. You know what I mean? And kids start to understand that. The older ones start taking lead. And then, when you got 4, 5, 6 kids that got 3.8s and 4.0s, then you're like, no, they got it now. You know what I mean? So that was something I was very proud about, bro. Like coming into a situation like that. So now that allowed my kids, right? So in the 4 years that I've been there, I have 13 kids that have come from my program that have gone on to the college level. Now, all of them don't play, right? Some of them played. I think there's a total of 7 that decided to play basketball. But the biggest thing was that all 13 of those kids, 2 chose to go to prep school for basketball reasons. All 13 of those kids were ready to go to 4-year universities. That was the big thing. Want to go to school? You need a letter of recommendation? Cool. I don't even got it. Coach, his grades are straight.
Well,
You know
here,
what I mean?
why is it so important for you to make sure that they're prepared for a 4-year institution? Why is that so important to you as a coach?
Because it creates, you're allowing them to be successful. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I don't know the numbers, I don't know the statistics, but I would like to see what it is if a kid's got to go through JUCO and he's got to take the long route. How many of those kids just like, F it, I don't want to do this no more. You know what I mean? I mean, so for me, it was important to just them to be ready so they could go to a 4-year school and just be like, this is where I'm going to school for 4 years and that's it. Not, I got to go to JUCO. And I already know how the JUCO route is. It's a little bit more on you to make sure you do what you do
Dependent.
academically and things like that than it is at a 4-year university, right? So just trying to have them to be in the best possible situation going forward in life, you
Right.
know? So it was very important to me, man. And at the same time, man, go ahead.
That being said, right, those relationships with those kids, what is that relationship like with those kids who have now graduated and for this part of time are getting ready to matriculate at the elite level? What kind of relationship have you been able to either maintain or not maintain with those kids, and then why is that important to you as well?
So I've created this thing, right? And I've created the brotherhood, and that's what we stand by, right? And I mean, that was our breakdown, 1, 2, 3 brotherhood. And every kid that has come through my program, I have some type of relationship with all of them. From as minimal as just sending a hey, happy birthday text, that's the only type of conversation we have, or happy holidays, to kids that I talk to almost every day, right? But that's the spectrum, but there's some type of communication. At some point, they all have come back, check on the game, check on, hey, coach, what's up? What we looking like? Like, because that brotherhood was established. And again, the mantra is, I'm going to touch your life some way. So, it was always bigger than basketball, because just being around the game so much, you see so many coaches that just don't care about the kids, period. It don't got to be about wins and losses, but you don't care about the kid. And I can't tell you how many kids, this, that just be like, man, when you talk about the high school coach, they like, F him, man. I don't care about him. He ain't care about me, and
I was that kid.
I, right,
I was
right,
literally
right. And for me, I was just never going to be that person. I was never going to be that person. I was going to always come in and establish this brotherhood because, again, if you look at the bigger picture, like you said, I've got kids that are about to graduate college now, right? What if one of those kids starts some type of big business or something and is able to come back now because of the brotherhood and open the opportunity for a younger kid that has the same interest that he does? Now you're creating network, right? Now that's something that can never be taken away, right? And where's that start from? High school. Damn, my high school coach started this brotherhood, and I'm a part of that, and I'm connected, and now I'm a role model because I'm the older guy, I'm the older brother, and I want these younger kids to do better because, again, they're part of the brother. You see where I'm going? Like, this is what was being built, man.
this
Like,
day, iron sharpens iron, and
mm,
you, what it does, and for many of the viewers out there who aren't necessarily coaches or those who are, know this. It's extremely important to have those kids be around your program as you continue in your lineage of coaching, because what tends to happen is kids get tired of your voice.
mm,
And the more voices that you can have around your program that are consistent, that amplify your ideologies, philosophies, and thoughts, that may not necessarily come from your lips, but may come from another person, and the effectiveness of that is looking at it from a bigger picture and understanding and knowing that having kids, new kids, all the time within your program, you want to be able to distinguish yourself amongst other people, because it's not just about basketball. It's never been just about basketball. Basketball is a big thing. And what I'm hearing and what comes up for me when I listen to you talk is you understand that your role in these kids' lives not only is to teach them the discipline, the commitment, the loyalty, the punctuality in terms of understanding where you need to be, time management, all of these different things. Because you said study hall for an hour. That means I have to manage my time so that I'm prepared to do these things. The discipline, consistently being able to do that over time. The commitment. I'm a part of a program for 4 years. These different things are the catalyst to these kids being successful. And for parents, I challenge you to have a conversation with your kid's high school coach about what his ideologies are in terms of what he thinks his role is for your kid and the impact in which he has in your kid. Because he's going to see him much more than you, he's going to have much more time around them than you. And what you should think about is when my young son or my young daughter is around this coach, at the end of that time, when my child graduates, what did that coach give to my child so that they not only are prepared for the next level, but that they can foster that relationship in terms of the mentorship? Because I know for myself, it takes a village. And if you don't understand that capacity that that individual has, that impact that that individual has on your child, you are sadly mistaken. Because many of you guys are focused on what a coach's winning percentage is. But then if you're concerned about those things, I challenge you again. He said 13 kids that are within his program have gone on to 4-year colleges and are still currently college students that are getting ready to either matriculate, meaning graduate from the collegiate level, or they're moving up, right? Those coaches that have all these wins, I want you to ask them, on average, when these kids leave your program after 2 years, what are they doing? And if what you get is, well, I got a speckled few here and there that are doing things, you know that there isn't a consistent commitment to understanding their role in the journey and process of developing a young man or a young woman being prepared for that next level, for success at that next level, not just the talent being exposed for the next level to pluck. And then once they get there, it's like, this is too hard. This is,
Right.
don't know any, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And once it gets to that point of the obligation of a student athlete, from your academic perspective and then from your athletic obligations, what you said, it can overwhelm a kid because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Hmm.
And if you're not doing your job at the high school level to prepare them for what they're going to encounter at the next level, I don't give a shit how many championships you want.
Mm.
Because at that point, my kid is set up for failure. My kid is doomed. And what winds up happening is the things in which we see. We see these guys who we went to school with, and what are they talking about now? We're 35, I'm 35, you're 40. What are these guys talking about? What happened when they were playing high school sports? And it's like, bro, I from the time I left high school, I could have had another child graduate high school, and we're talking about those things. We should be talking about what's happening now. We should be talking about the things that you've prepared them for, the values that they've taken to get to the point of success in whatever endeavors they're on. And that education doesn't stop, is what you're telling me. It's not 4 years done. It's these 4 years for the rest of your life. You always.
Right. Right.
So I just wanted to make sure that I took some time out to just highlight some of those things that not only are coming up for me, but extracting those things and putting it out there for some of the viewership to understand that it's not just he's talking these things. These things are really, really food for thought for you parents that are considering transferring institutions, preparing your kid to either reclass or the go to the Catholic school that's recruiting and not going to the public school. This is a gentleman who's a part of a public school entity, operating in such, has the capacity, the acumen to go to the collegiate level, played professionally, has earned his dues as a coach. Forget what I've done as a player. This is what I've done as a coach. And at the end of the day, how do you find much better marketing for that if you're a superintendent of schools making a decision on who you want to be the leader of men or the leader
Right,
of women? So go ahead.
right, right. I mean, like, and that's the thing. Like, you know how I hold myself. Like, I'm not going to put myself in a situation to make the school ever look bad. I'm going to try to put you in the best light possible. And unfortunately, after all that I've let the viewers know what I've done and how successful I was at Winslow High School, the powers that be said, "Nah, you got to go."
So let me ask
And
you,
go
this
ahead.
is extremely important. So we all identify with the pandemic that's going on. You can go back in our earlier episodes and kind of listen to some of the things that we were talking about then. You can go on our IGs and our IG lives when we were doing this during at the height of the pandemic when we were doing these different things, and he was talking about working and what players should be doing. What were you doing as a high school coach during this coronavirus to try to help continue to develop your kids, develop your program, and work around insurmountable obstacles and odds, really? I mean,
Right, right. I mean, once it got nice enough to go outside consistently, we were outside, man. Like, listen, we can't be inside. We can't be in the gym. Well, let's go outside. Let's get some fresh air. Let's just, work. And, you know, me, I'm always preparing for the next. So at that point, when it was time and it was go time, and, we were allowed to do things um, by state regulation, it's time to get to work because I know going into this season how young the team was, So it was a matter of just like, yo, we got to work because I'm looking at the kids like, all right, majority of y'all sophomores, some juniors mixed in. All right, I'm looking at where I want to be in 2 years, where our goals are in 2 years. So that's what we're working for. So, we were conditioning, we were, um, what 4 days a week, 3 days a week, we're doing conditioning and then getting on the court, working on skill, just fine tuning of how we want to play this year, just setting that tone and foundation. So when the season did start, because it was due to start in December, we hit the ground running, and that was very important for me. Having young players were like, let's get a head start now because I believe that group could have made, well, I don't know, can make some noise.
but
And
with that, let me ask you this question: did any parent ask you to do that?
no,
Did any administrator ask you to do that?
nah,
Did your athletic director at the conclusion of your end of the year eval ask you to continue doing what you were doing?
no, and I've never been evaluated in 4 years.
Did anyone compensate you for any of those things that you were doing?
Nope.
Do you have a family?
Yep. Got a wife and my little girl will be 2 next week. Yeah, 2 next week.
So, in essence, you were financially not being compensated for something, but that didn't even cross your mind, is what you're telling me. You didn't even think, I'm not getting paid for this.
Right. Mind you, and I've been out of work since March when the pandemic hit and school shut down. I wasn't, excuse me, wasn't working. So yeah, I'm out there. But
I just want to put things in its proper context because people,
right.
yeah, all right, this guy might be on here with some sob story shit, and it's just like,
Nah.
this is
We spitting facts.
honest.
Give
This is
you all the facts. Yeah.
the latest out here, and put it in its right context so that people can digest that and say, wow, this is shit. You're not the only person that have gone through this, right? If I'm not mistaken,
Right.
other people
Right.
experience this as well. So this
Right.
an issue that we're highlighting for high school coaches that need
Right.
to really coach high school sports. There are not everybody wants to coach in the NBA. Not everybody wants to get to the Duke level of coaching. Some people are
Right.
perfectly fine and content with 30 years of coaching at a public institution at which they can
Right.
his lives through the game of basketball and win some championships along the way.
Right.
That take away from a guy's competitiveness. It doesn't take away from a guy's goals or his ambition or achievement. It just means that he doesn't have the same focus as everyone or other people, even if he may
Right.
have the capabilities of doing that. So again, I just want people to understand that you're doing these things because you feel like they are important. Preparation is
Right.
important. This is
Right.
another this is another value that you're conveying. I would just want again for people to understand it's not lip service, it's action that's being created behind that. So when we talk about these things, understand this man is showing these kids these things because of what he's doing. He's not saying, I want you to do this. I want you to be like that. It's I'm showing you. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to be dedicated. I'm going to commit. I'm going to make sacrifices. So I'm not asking of you to do anything that I wouldn't do of my own self.
Right.
And
And it
that,
gets to the point now too, because that's been established now. Like when the off season hit, we working. If there was no pandemic and no corona, we would have been in the gym 4 days a week, 5 days a week. So the kids know that now. And I mean, it gets to the point where, like, look, guys, something came up. I really can't make it today. I gotta, man, coach, you blowing my stuff. Like, come on, coach, man. Like, they look forward to that, right?
well,
But being that we're in a pandemic, um, I also knew how important it was for their mental, like to be able to listen. We're gonna find a way to work around this, and we're gonna continue to work. I know you've been cooped up in the house for a couple months, and all this life changing what's going on around you. So let's have some normalcy and work. And I know that was a release for them.
yeah,
And not only that, like I put my teams in the fall league, and they had a couple single day tournaments that I'm coming out of my pocket um, to put money towards, so my kids can play and get better. Again, I'm not under contract. I'm not out here. I don't get paid for this time, but this time is the most important time because this is the time where you're hands on. You can do whatever you want to prepare for the season. It's very important at this point. So that's what I do, no matter where I am.
I just want to go back real quick because you talked about the brotherhood, you talked about what you were trying to create, and I think that we overlooked something that was extremely important in that culmination of a brotherhood. One of your particular players that you had, what was he able to do? We talked about the pandemic, we talked about brotherhood, we talked about what you were able to build within these kids. Now because of that, you see it take form and manifest itself through some kids. Highlight some of the things that some of your kids have done, and in particular, one individual.
Um, well, again, when I told you about that spectrum of the relationship with kids and how some I talk to less and more than others, and there's one kid, Pierre Harding,
Shout out,
who who
uh,
I actually called nephew. He's a special kid, man. Like he's
definitely,
a special young man. I don't want to call him a kid. He's a special young man.
definitely
Um,
light in this world, man. He's a definitely
absolutely.
smart young man. Got his head on straight, focused, determined. So I just want to make sure I shout out my man Pete, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. And he's one of those kids that I call nephew and he calls me uncle. Like that's just the relationship that has been built. But, you know, during the pandemic and when there was so much racial tension going on in our country and um when it got to a point when we were just tired of everything, here's a kid that understands what's going on in the world, right? He's awoke to what's going on and approaches me like, yo, I wanna put together a rally. I wanna put together a protest. And it's like, huh? You wanna do what? Like that's not something you expect from a younger kid. Like it wasn't something I expected to hear from him. And he's like, nah, like you're not understanding what I'm talking about, Unc. Like I want you to help me. Like, what's some steps I need to take? Like he was like, I'm ready to go to the police department and ask what we gotta do so we can make this come to fruition. He was like, I got a couple of some kids from my graduating class that want to be a part. And like, we really want to make this like we don't want no thrown together, half-ass thing. Like we want this well prepared, sought out, thought out, everything. And that's what they did. They got together, they called the mayor, they called police department, they got information, they got the word out. They made sure everything was safety, followed protocol, everything. Every I that needed to be dotted and T crossed, they thought of and
I'm
did.
so proud of them for that, man.
And then you have, I think it was like 2,500 people. I could be off on the numbers, but you have a couple thousand people outside walking in the town, protesting. And here's something that was put together by young men and women,
Mhm.
And then to find out, a couple of days later that Pierre becomes the face of the NCAA webpage, with his name, and that's just like, wow. Like, we always finish this show, and I always say the most important thing is to inspire the next person to be great. And at that I had that epiphany right then, like, wow, like
Mhm.
I'm I've helped inspire somebody. Like, look what he's doing. Like, he's trying to change the world.
Had nothing.
And
Don't got nothing.
nothing to do with basketball. And that's the thing. With that brotherhood being built, he felt the need, right? Let me call Coach Wayne and get his input,
Mhm.
right? Yo, what you think about this? I didn't think about that. I need to go do that. Thank you. You know what I mean? And then go out and execute. And that's it. That's what it's about, man. Like, and I know we talked about it before, but like, my kids come back. They
Mhm.
come back. To me, that's something that you measure a coach by. Does he have kids that come back? Do they come back and, not just to watch the game? Do they come back? Hey, coach, what's up? You want to get some dinner? Coach, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have kids that have come back, and after games be standing by the locker room and be like, yo, can I just talk to the team, please, coach? And go in on them. To where the point I don't even got to say nothing. Like, listen, like, you're not gonna get this from another coach. Like, you're not understanding. Y'all got way more effort that you need. You know what I mean? Like, they be on it. Like, and it's just like, all right, cool, let's bring it in. We out. Like, you've heard it from guys that that come back often, and you see and you know who they are because of the brotherhood. Now ain't nothing else to say, right? So that's what was built. So I mean, and then there, Pierre just, like, again, he's a special kid, and let me give him another shout out because he just started his own clothing brand.
Yep.
Um,
That's a
chosen children. He just dropped a commercial and some hoodies on Friday. You could go to @chosen children, and check it out.
make
So
sure
again, just
pop up, man, because
right,
it's just sometimes you got to get away from just buying a product and just buy people, man. And sometimes
right, right,
it's
right.
for something great. It don't matter if you're not wearing it all the time or it's not going
Nah,
fresh J's. Just support that brother in his mission, man, and what he trying to
right.
do.
Right. I mean, again, one, we should be supporting each other, right? Um, and two, he's a college kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he's trying to find his way and inspire. And like, he's got a story. And I've always told him, like, you have a story,
Mhm.
right? And I can't wait for people to hear your story because people are going to be mind blown. Like, wow, like, you went through all of this and here you are still successful. You know what I mean? So shout out to my nephew, man. Like, I'm super proud of him, man. Like, he's a special person.
Yeah.
He's a special individual. He's going to do great things. And again, that's the brotherhood, man. That's the brotherhood right there.
But just off that too, man, I think sometimes we don't give enough credit for them inspiring us, and continue
Right.
us. And I think sometimes as we get a little older, we don't ever really tell young cats like, dang, Doug, you inspire me too. Like, I know
Right.
younger than me, or you may not have seen everything I've seen, but I just like your spirit. I like what you doing.
Right.
That inspires me.
Right.
That motivates me to be great, and hold myself even that much more accountable. Because I feel that responsibility when I see you doing what you doing. It's almost like what in the brotherhood. I think what people don't understand is this positive peer pressure. It's almost like
Right.
I need to be doing something great. If this 18, 19-year-old kid can go out here and organize a rally with 2,500 people to go and do something purposeful, I'm not winning the way I think I'm winning. I need to go,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I want to
Right.
do,
Right.
so
Right. And right, yeah, that's a great point, man. And that's the thing. Inspiration doesn't know age. It doesn't know
fact.
success. It doesn't know pockets. It doesn't know money. Inspiration is inspiration. It could come from anywhere.
Word.
So that was a great point. Um, so that's just a brief run through of what's been going on at Winslow in my 4 years. right? And all right, go back to some numbers. I did acquire one South Jersey championship and 45 wins in 4 years, right? And as a coach, I'm approaching my 100th win. So these are staples that a lot of coaches don't get. You know what I mean? Like I know a lot of coaches that don't ever get past the first round of the playoffs.
Listen, it's a lot of coaches that ain't make the playoffs and been there for 20 years and ain't make
Right.
maybe
Right.
one group to get there, and they still always
Right.
about, man, that team with this name and this name. And it's like,
Right. Right.
10 years ago. So
Right.
look,
Right.
it's very, very. I don't think people understand your career is a very unique career. Okay, it's rooted in work, it's rooted in the right stuff, and you've been successful primarily because of following those ingredients. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if you want a cake to taste good, here's the ingredients that it's going to take. And I don't think
Right.
people understand where that comes from, and how much work you've put in and how much sacrifice and time you've put in to be where you are, and just how much you want to get better. We just had a conversation about preparing, and you telling me about, hey, this opportunity, it didn't work, but I got to prepare myself for the next opportunity. So I'm
Right.
continuing to keep working on coaching and getting better at that aspect of,
Right.
and when that opportunity presents itself, which I know it is, and it's almost like you're gonna have to really fend off people. The thing is just people you don't get the genuineness, you don't get the authenticity, you don't get the honesty, from a lot of coaches, especially at the public school levels, because let's be honest here, it's not really too much pressure to win at public schools. It's kind of like, long as
Right.
you roll the balls out and you keep the kids out of trouble, you're kind of pretty.
Right.
But to have a mentality of like, I'm here, but I want to separate myself. I want to compete with the big dogs. I want to challenge myself, even if I don't have the talent to necessarily compete with the seventh ranked team in the country. I'm trying to give them hell. I'm trying
Right.
to do that. I want my kids to be thinking that. I don't want my kids to be thinking, we're playing Camden. Hope we don't get blown out by 30. It's like, nah, we playing Camden. We got to value the possession. We got to make sure we box out. We got to secure. We got to buy into our habits. We got to amplify those things that coach is always talking about, the little things. And we can give ourselves a chance. I don't know.
Right.
They might be having an off night. Who knows?
Right.
But
Right.
we want to give ourselves a chance. I'm not riding with a coach who's like not preparing like it's the NCAA championship. And that's how
Right.
you go about doing certain things. And I know that about you. I know how much you take emotionally you take away from losses, how much you invest yourself in these kids. And it's just, we've been able to process that, together, because I'll just let you talk about what you were able to do once hearing these things, and what you were able to do in that South Jersey area in terms of the response that you received once these things were kind of put out on public display. So kind of quickly go through those things.
Right. Right. Again, we had just talked about, like, here I am putting time in the off season, preparing for the upcoming season, because we were scheduled to start December 3rd. So I'm working fall league workouts, everything. And here it comes the end of October. And I'm told I'm not being brought back. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, but I've been putting all this work in. That was my response. Like, like, I've been out here working. What you talking about? You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, yeah, the higher ups just don't want you coming back. And it's like, at that point, I had two choices: just roll down and die, and just like or just fight. And I'm like, no. You're just not going to do me like that. That was my mentality. Like, nah, whatever comes out of this, but you're gonna know my name, basically. Like, you're gonna know, like, I ain't just some.
Why was that important for you? Was that just important for you? Was that important for other people? Was that important for your family, for your daughter, for what, where did that
It's important for everybody who was in my life.
Mm.
That's how, like, I'm going to show everybody that, like, I'm a fighter, and I'm going to show everybody that, like, look, things will happen in your life that you don't have no control over, People will try to get over in you. People will try to backstab you, but you fight. And I, I wanted to show my wife. I wanted to show you, my brothers, my daughter. I wanted to show the kids, like, yo, I'm gonna fight for y'all. Like, we know what's right. You know, right? So that's what I did. Like, and I fought. And I reached out to all the higher ups, to the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the school board. I want to know why the decision is being made because I need to know. Like, nobody's not giving me any reasons on why. And I don't want to hear we're just deciding to go into a new direction. And I don't want to hear that. I want to know why. You need to tell me why. What's the parameter in you doing it? Why? You know what I mean? And there was no answer. There was no answer because I know, right? And this ain't being cocky. I know I'm a good coach. I know that I give everything. I know that I take time away from my family to be here with other kids and their families to help them be successful. And this is for your school. I know how much time I put into just coming here every day. And I'm coming here from 7 o'clock. And some days I'm not getting home at 10 o'clock. So I know. So never got in trouble. No write-ups. People don't complain. Like I need to know why. Like you need to hit me with some facts of why this is going down. And and there was none.
Right.
There was none. There was none. And and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna do my own investigation. And I start hitting people up. People that I had became friends with in the district. Like, yo, what's going on? Like, what you hearing? And you find stuff out. And it's like, yo, all right, cool. This is going down. And it's like the old coach wants his job back. And I don't care. He quit. All right. So we're allowed to quit things and just come back when we want. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? And
no matter what the circumstance was, you
right. Right. And listen, I'm gonna keep it real. I know the issues that he had with parents and things that he's done before quitting. And let's be real, dog. You quit because you just don't want to deal with the pressure no more. You quit knowing like
whatever his reason. I ain't even gonna get into that because that
word.
No, there. Whatever your reason,
right. But you quit.
Left these kids and you left the position and you knew what you was doing when you did it.
Right.
You weren't forced out. You made a decision as a man.
Right.
Cool. Now let this brother do what he got to do until he may decide either move on.
Or I will say my issue with it so it's like, again, like what really made that part like bad and like hurtful was the old coach like had kind of befriended me coming to Winslow. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you need type, like I'm here for the kids. Like if you need anything, like, I mean, so, we have had developed a relationship, like, and it was like, all right, we cool, and here's somebody that's supposed to be my friend. That's like, yo, I'm coming for your job, basically. So when it happened, like, and finding out that he was getting the job back, it was like, all right, like I said, like, well, I need to know why, because like, let's lay resumes together. Like, I don't care. Like, we could do all of that. And I need to know why, you know what I mean? And nobody had an answer for me. The superintendent didn't want to talk about it. He deflected me back to talk to the principal and the AD. And, I'm being told that it's not from them, it's coming from the higher up. So it's like, well, who's it coming from then? Why is nobody giving me answers? So y'all want to play that game, right? And so it was like, all right, I'm going to rally. So, that board meeting that they approved the coaches, let me go back. Excuse me. Let's rewind a little bit. Like at some point, I'm like, listen, I need to tell the kids. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to find out from anybody else. I don't want them to hear what's going on. What's going on, coach? Why? Somebody told me, nope, you're going to hear it from me. So at one of our workouts, like I told them what it is. Like, listen, this is what's going down. I don't have answers for you. I don't know why myself, but I'm always transparent with you guys. I'm always upfront. I'm always honest. So this is what it is. This is what we could do to try to combat that. So at that board meeting, they got all their parents, and when it was time to call in and on the public comments, the phone calls started coming in on my behalf. You actually were the first one. You set it off. Which was kind of, it was beautiful because at that moment, it was like, yeah, you know that people bang with you, but you don't know if they're gonna call in on your behalf. Like you don't know if they're gonna go the extra mile. And like here it is, my brother calls in, and then after you called, it just was nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
It
people
was
start.
really crazy. It was crazy.
It really was. It really was. And like I got to speak because, you know, after a couple people called in, they were like, well, who the hell is Wayne Nelson? You know, the board members had no idea who I was. And then it was like I called and my call went through and it was like, I'm Wayne Nelson. This blah 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 blah. Like this is what's going on. I need answers.
Mm-hmm.
And then more people called. So to the point, so many were calling that they stopped taking phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're gonna be here all night if we don't, you know. And at that point, it was like, wow, like wow, like people were really calling on my behalf. Like my wife was next to me when when this was going down, and she's in tears. Like it's just like it was a beautiful thing to see amidst the moment of what people thought about me and the impact that I had, you know. But it fell on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. I even emailed all the board members after. I had to put together a 30-page packet, and it was letters of recommendation from teachers in the building, from other coaches in our league, from college coaches. There were letters from almost every single player that I have coached at Winslow. Letters from players that I didn't coach at Winslow, and it ended up being a 30-page packet that I sent to every board member. And I got the generic, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah response. At that point, I'm like, man, if they don't read this and make a change, if they don't hear all these phone calls, then these people are just flat out evil and don't care. Nothing happened. And at that point, I'm just like, man, go and continue to fight.
Bullshit. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I gotta continue to fight another one, right?
Sure.
Let me find some legal action. Let me find out what I got as in terms of my rights. The kids started a petition during this time. And the petition was very well written. It expressed things from their point of view on how they felt, and what they wanted in their coach. And at the end of the day, they didn't want to go through the change when they didn't see nothing was wrong. They understood what I've done for them in the program. They've also understood what happened prior to me coming there. They don't want to play for somebody who quit, bottom line. And they expressed that. And when the petition I did was brought to me, I was just like, to be honest with you, I think it was Pierre who was like, yo, coach, like, you should start this petition. And I'm just like, all right. Like, not really understanding what a petition, and I knew what a petition was, but, you know, not understanding the depth of it. And he's like, nah, I got you. And it gets set up. And within a matter of days, I mean, a matter of a week, I think, I mean, within 2 weeks' times at max, had close to 1,500 signatures. You know what I mean? And it stemmed from all throughout New Jersey. And I mean, the meat and potatoes were a lot of people from South Jersey, but the love and the support, it was, man, like, it was amazing, bro. Like, it's like, damn, like, and we've talked about this, and it was like, when I needed people, right? When I just needed voices to speak up and just let them know, like, yo, you don't know this person. Like, you don't know the impact he has had on South Jersey, right? What he has done prior to Winslow, the people he's impacted in general. Like, you don't get it. You don't know, right? And that came out, and during that time, a newspaper article, Glory Days,
Yes,
Dave
sir.
Sullivan came
Shout
out
to Dave
and was
Sullivan,
like,
man. I appreciate you making sure that article got out there, man.
Huge shout out to Dave Sullivan, man. He's been in my corner since day one, since Cedar Creek.
Yeah.
He's always followed me. Always, any article that he has written on my behalf has always put me in the best of light. So big shout out to him for wanting to write the story when other newspaper outlets said, yeah, and then that was it. You know what I mean? He's like, nah. He stopped everything he was doing. Like, yo, I'll come out right now. Let's get this done. You know what I mean?
That's what I appreciate. Man. Don't get the salacious stuff. Get some real substance, man. Some stuff else.
Here's something about when you know you've impacted people, right? So during that time after the first board meeting, right, when we still haven't gotten the answer. That's the crazy thing. After the board meeting, we just didn't hear anything. Didn't know what was going on. There was no yes, no, well, nothing. Nobody said anything, right? It was like, well, the kids is like, yo, man, we ain't playing. Like, we not gonna play. Like, it's a short year. It's a pandemic. We don't know what's gonna happen with the season. So, yo, we just won't play. Like, after school, and like, they not saying this, right? Each one of them is writing emails and sending it in to the superintendent. Like, yo, listen, respectfully, like, you don't understand what Coach Wayne means to us. If you don't want Coach Wayne, you're basically saying you don't want me, and I'm not going to play for this year's team. And it was, boom, these kids are sending letters. Like, I'm like, damn, like, wow. Like, again, like, if that don't touch somebody's heart, like, man, like, right? So them letters coming in, the petition comes out, the article come out, man. Hold on. Big shout out to Bobby Edmonds, man. Like, me and Bobby always been cool. Good dude.
Yeah,
but when I tell you, like, when he caught wind of what was going on and how hard he was going, like, he started hitting up the press. He started hitting up I can't even think the other newspapers, the press, whatever, the Courier Post and them, right? He is like, nah, like, I'm gonna help you get your voice to be heard. Like, Twitter, like, he called the superintendent, no answer. He emailed the superintendent, no answer. Like, he started, like, and he even told me, like, listen, man, like, you're older than me. You were somebody that helped me, like, in the process. And, like, I know how much Winslow meant to you. Like, I'm just not gonna he said, I'm not letting you go out like this. You know what I mean? And so big shout out to him. Like, he was big in my corner. But it was like, all right, we got all this ammunition now, right? We got article, we got a petition, I got 1,500 signatures, I got emails, I got letters. I'm like, we're sending it into the school, we're sending it in, right? People are complaining. Kids is saying, like, we not playing if he's not our coach. All this. The next board meeting happens. Boom. Still at this point, you know, every board meeting is 2 weeks. Still haven't heard anything from them. Is it a yes? Is it a no? We're going to bring you back. We made a mistake. Damn, we didn't know how much impact you had on nothing. Haven't heard anything. So next board meeting, right? Public comments come up again. Boom, phone calls start happening again. And now this is all different people. There's different people, right? Now the kids are calling in. The kids. The first time the kids ain't really calling, it was more parents, right? And other people. Now the kids are calling in, bro. And the kids are telling the board members. So, and imagine being a 15, 16-year-old kid calling into an adult meeting of people that you know that are your administrators and people that have say on what happens in your district, and you telling them to their face, I'm not playing if coach ain't coaching. I'm not playing. Like, next call, blah, 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 blah. Respectfully, I'm not playing. And the next. Now moms are calling in, crying, like, yo, like, you don't know what he's done for my son. And, like, people don't understand about me too as a coach. Like, some of the kids that I keep are the kids that people normally might give up on, like a Pierre, right? They're like, I don't got time to worry about. He got too much going on. Like, nah, like, you don't know, like, because I was that kid. I was a kid in high school that had so much negative things that was happening around him in his life that have happened, that has transpired. It was like, yo, I needed someone. And you know what I mean? Like, And like I said, that's my mantra. I'm gonna impact you. So those are the type of kids that I've had. And yeah, those kids needed extra work. There's some kids that I'm like, yo, I gotta hit you every day. Like, yo, why you ain't doing your work, yo? Yo, don't make me pull up on you. Like things like that. Like, yo. And they've turned their lives around to understand, like, yo, man, I'm trying to be on the court, man. I'm trying to play for coach. Like, coach want me to go to class. I guess I just gotta do the minimum at least. While I was getting F's, now I'm getting C's. Mom's hitting me like, yo, thank you. Like, I was at ends with him, like, you know what I mean? Like being in those situations, and now these parents are calling in and expressing that, like, yo, he's turned my son's life around. Like, you're not understanding, you know what I mean? So this is the next board meeting, and again, so many phone calls are happening that they're like, yo, we not taking no more phone calls, and now they vocalize that. Well, listen, if you want to call and talk about Coach Wayne, then please don't call the board meeting no more. Please just direct your phone calls to the superintendent, knowing that every phone call that has went to the superintendent was never answered.
Right.
Never answered. Right. They didn't want to hear it no more. So it was like, you know, and at this point, it was like, I know what y'all on. I know what y'all doing. This is a behind the scenes deal. This is something that's capricious. It's, you know, something that's done with intent, that you don't care about the kids. You just, you know, a favor for a favor, or, you know, we don't care about none of that. Let's just get this guy in here, and it is what it is. So, you know, once I came to terms with that and started to see, like, you know, you deal with it. You deal with it, you know, but
you to swallow it, not then, right?
Right. But it's just, yo, I got to give a huge shout out to South Jersey. I mean, the people like you, just who just called in on my behalf, wrote something on my behalf, whether it was an email, whether you sent positive vibes, you called. Like, I've got so many calls and texts. Like, I remember telling Jazz when this was like, when we were in the heart of this, like, yo, by like 12 o'clock, my phone would be dead because people were texting me, calling me, like, yo, what can I do? Like, college coaches, like, you name it, bro. It was just like, what can I do? What and it became more of like a we thing. What can we do to get you back in there where you belong? Right. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. And, you know, like, it made me like really sit back and think, and something that we've always said and talked about. I want to go somewhere where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. Right? Y'all tolerated me, right? You tolerated me for however long. You never took the time to learn, to intrigue yourself. What's he doing over here? What's going with our basketball program? Because then you would have saw the impact that was being made by an individual in your district. And I'm not from here. I'm not from Winslow, from Atlantic City. You know, like, could have easily stayed in my area and impacted, but nah, I'm gonna come in wherever, I'm gonna impact. And I made a change. I made a change in your school. You know what I mean? And had you just taken the time to say, what's going on over here, you would have saw that. You know what I mean? Like, and I said this earlier, it's easy to look in the paper and say, oh, they only won 5 games last year. Oh, what he doing over there? Like, what's our basketball team like? Cool. Now, if you want to know some answers, come ask. Right? And if it's not enough for you to get consistency from all these people in the community, from kids, past players, present players, parents, coaches, if that consistency isn't enough, when they're constantly telling you to your face what I'm about, and it's not about basketball. There wasn't about, oh, he's a great X and O's guy, and when the game's on the line, he's gonna run the right play. And I don't think basketball was mentioned one time in this whole process. It was about my character, what I've done, how I've impacted, how I've motivated, how I'm a leader, all of that. Like,
the things that really matter, you saying.
Right. And again, if you don't want to coach like that in your district, then you know what? F you too, then. I don't want to be here. I want to be here. Because again, you're not celebrating me. You just tolerating me. And that's cool. It was cool, man. Like, yeah, it was hard, man. It was butthurt. I was butthurt because it was something that was just so unexpected. But again, the rally, the people, the kids, like, and no, like, the kids didn't sit out. For you guys listening, I wouldn't be able to move forward with myself knowing that kids didn't play, especially seniors, regardless of how many games they were going to play this year, right? Just missing out. And I know why they were doing it. And yeah, it would have sent a loud message, but my message to them was, y'all going to play. You're not going to sit. It is what it is. This isn't your battle. It's my battle. I know you were helping me fight it. But I wouldn't be the person who I am if I said, yeah, you could sit. It's cool with me. We gonna sit this one out together. Like, nah, because then you might not get this year back, or you don't got another year. No, I mean, go play. Your voices were heard.
Doing this a lot longer than you're gonna have a window to play. So take that window, play, put it out there. You know, don't go into that situation carrying animosity. You get that man the respect. You do what you got to do, and just know that
you play hard.
Push you. That's it.
And guess what? I'm gonna still be coaching you from the sidelines. Like, they still hit me, yo, coach, I'm having a hard time. Blah. Like, again, and I told him this, and that's what the brotherhood. This brotherhood don't end when we cross them lines, them sidelines. The brotherhood is for life. When you play, it's for life. Like, I might not be right there with you to guide you through those plays and those practices, but I'm still here in your life. Like, I'm still gonna be able to give you advice. I'm still gonna be able to give you basketball advice, knowledge. Like, I'm still gonna be able to help you if you still want to go to college. Like, if I can assist in any way, it's the brotherhood. Understand that. Like, and that's what a lot of people on the outside don't understand or didn't understand. This wasn't just about basketball. We created a culture. I created a culture there, and the kids bought into that culture, and they love the culture. They love being a part of something. You know what I mean? And it is what it is.
Care about them.
Right.
The biggest thing. A lot of y'all coaches out there, you gotta understand something, man. We live in a climate now where it's not the old adage of respecting your elders. These kids want respect, and they want to know that they're being cared for. You can't be out here wanting to yell at kids and yeah, while you might be right, you just have to learn that that's not going to resonate the same way like it would with our generation. You know, that generation is like, all right, well, you want to do all this yelling, bro? You don't even know what type of stuff I be on. You just want to yell about X's and O's. You don't even understand. Like, I ain't today. How about that, coach? You know what I'm saying? You're wondering why I can't sprint back and forth up the court. I ain't eat today. Did you ask me how my day went? Did you know what I'm saying? Like, do you check the temperature? Do you do those things? Because guess what? When you do those things, that's when the yelling and those things, they're going to be able to take that. They're going to say, yo, I don't want to disappoint coach. I got to play to my potential. That's what he's coaching me to do. That's why he's yelling at me. He's yelling at me because he knows I can do better. And I know that if coach is coming at me, I know he care about me rather than, you know, he just want me to make him look good. Remember, I mean, I played on some bad teams. Mm-hmm. And I've also happened to have played on some good teams, some great teams. And I happen to know that these are the types of things that dudes say under their breath as they go to the line, like, man, F this coach, man. You don't care nothing about yo. All you care about is your winning percentage. Or all you care about is how many games you win or whatever. You understand? So, you know, it's a very fine line. And I think that you know, have told that line properly and correctly and laid down a good foundation for yourself as well as for those kids going forward with the ones that you have come into contact with.
Word. And you know what? Like, I've learned from this situation, like, you know, like, one, like, you can never just get too comfortable, right? Like, you always just have to just always continuously, like, and we get in moments where we are comfortable in life, and it's our human nature to do that. And like, when we're hit with that uncomfortable moment, we just have to be able to learn. And I've learned just to, look, you just can't trust everybody. That was one. It's like, yo, no matter how kind and no matter what, like, there's a reason why my circle's small as it is, right? It's hard to trust people. And that was just echoed in the whole situation. Mm-hmm. And it's cool. It's cool because it's like, yo, karma is real. Karma is really real.
Right.
Again, too, like, want to go where I know somebody wants me and they want me to be there and build and will support and give me the opportunity to do that. And I mean, how many times have I complained about, well, Winslow wouldn't let me do this and I can't do this and I can't get a camp and I can't get in the gym. And it's like, you know what? You weren't even trying to help me. Right. You wouldn't even just see what I'm about.
You were actually making it harder for me.
Right. And so, yeah, you take that, you learn from it. And it's now, like we talked about, now I'm in a situation where I don't know what's next. I really don't. You know what I mean? But I know I've just been having this voice in my head, and we talked about this yesterday. Like, you know, like I pray and I'm asking like, what's next? And what's the next move? What's the next door that's gonna open? And I keep hearing, stop worrying about that. Just prepare yourself. Just prepare yourself. That's the word I keep hearing is prepare yourself. Tighten yourself up. Work on your listen, I might not be the best X and O guy. It's a perfect time to get better at X's and O's. This is a perfect time to work on to clean up your philosophy a little bit. Add something to your repertoire so when you go, you're a little bit more, better at you're not just one minded, you know what I mean? And prepare, prepare. And amongst that preparation, when the opportunity presents itself, you'll be ready and you'll know, and I'll know. And it's just like, all right, this is the opportunity that I was meant to have. And I'm ready to take this head on. And you know what I mean? So at this point, that's what I'm doing, man. Just preparing myself and getting ready for that next opportunity that may present itself. And, that again to our viewers, man, like this for me, this was a big reason why I haven't really been into the pod and coming on here with the hoop chat, just because that was taking so much up of my life. Because you hear now how much time that I've actually put in, so it is my life. Basketball is my life. So, but I'm here, man. I'm here. I'm strong. I got a great support system, man. My wife, she's been
Shout out to Jazz.
She's been
holding it
backbone to this whole thing, like almost like it's kind of funny, like it's kind of like you view it as like you with your bro and you're like somebody's like, yo, you trying to fight, yo? Like, and you look at your bro and like, well, what you trying to do? Trying to go? Like, and then she's been like that the whole time. Well, what you want to do? What you want to do? Oh, you want to take the lawsuit way? You want to show up to the school and rumble? Like, I felt like whatever I decided to do, she was going to be there, and she's been huge support, man. And shout out to Ellie, just keeping me on my toes and just definitely helping me keep my mind off of things, and just being home with her and being around her on a daily basis, and helps you keep what's important and keep that in perspective.
Which I told you before, that's one of God's greatest gifts, is giving you the opportunity to build that relationship at a young age. Actually really have the time, because people want to have time, but like when they have, they wind up filling it with other things that are pressing, to just kind of like, yo, it's a blessing in disguise. The world stops. I get an opportunity to watch my daughter grow. I get an opportunity to day in, day out for an entire, basically like a full year, just me and her. And building that bond and building that relationship at such a crucial and impactful stage of our life. And I've been one to, every time we talk, see it like, man, she just growing beautiful every day. There's something new all the time. And I think that that's a tremendous blessing that's priceless. So amidst all the other stuff, professionally or otherwise, I think just having that opportunity as a family, as a young family, to spend a lot of time with one another, grow with each other, go through those different trials and tribulations through this, and making adjustments, through this whole pandemic. And I think it just draws you and unifies you guys that much more and fortifies you guys that much more. And it's a special thing to see. And it's great. And hey, man, and in 5 years, we'll check back and see how big of a blessing it was to go through this coronavirus, and on the other side of it, what has transpired as a result of it in a positive way. So,
absolutely, man.
My end, it's like Winslow wasn't going to be the end all be all anyway. You understand?
Right.
There was always aspirations of going to another level to get your opportunity at where you really wanted to be. And you know what? It's kind of like what Les Brown says, man. If God, understands how special you are and is telling you to move, but you don't move, he'll create something to move you in the direction where you're supposed to be. Even if you think at the time it's the worst thing that could be happening, it could be the very blessing that forces you into your greatness. So, from my perspective, I just think that great things are on the horizon. I already know that there's going to be ample people You know, they letting these lame duck coaches go ahead and run this little sprint because it's 4 weeks, you know, and their season gonna be over. And I'm sure a lot of them are already preliminarily sitting down and writing out their evaluation speech. Hey, coach, listen, I understand the pandemic and everything, but you were mediocre for the last 5 years, and we got a hot commodity that's on the market right now, and we want to make our, you know what I'm saying, our efforts to go in that different direction. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for your interview skills. What are you going to give me? You know, those are the different things that, you know, you can now utilize this time to prepare yourself, like you said, and your bag, where it's like, yo, I'm coming into this situation. There's certain things that I need in order to bring, you know, the vision to reality. Where are you going to help me? You know, no, I'm not going to give you an answer today. I'm going to go see everybody. I'm driving all the cars. And then I'll let you know what interior, what moto, all that. That's what I'm going. So, you know, the leverage is in your possession, man. And yes, it's tough. And it's more tough, I know, not because of the basketball, but because of what transpires on a day-to-day basis in practice with those kids. You see them grow. You see you develop certain relationships with them during practice. And to be quite honest, for people like you and me, being able to utilize basketball in that capacity is extremely therapeutic to our mental health. You know what I'm saying? Just whether it be coaching, whether it be shooting a basketball, whether it just be being in the gym and getting the guys together and saying, you know, hard work on 3, family on 6, like that. Those types of moments are really impactful and meaningful to people like you and me when it comes down to that basketball experience. So, you know, I'm excited for what's ahead for you, man. We can lock in and give the viewership updates as to what's transpiring, you know what I mean, and what's going on. So, you know, any more things you want to say on that before we put a button on that?
Nah, man. Like that's it. I mean, I let y'all know, let the viewers know what transpired, what happened, where I stand, where, you know, like everything was given out. So I'm good, man. Like I said, I'm in a good space now with it. It is what it is. It's time to move on. And that was something that you just did point about Les Brown. Like my dad kind of did say the same thing. Like sometimes God will push you when you're not moving into the direction that he wants you to go. And, you know, I even take that as, you know, something where I could use that analogy how I'm with my daughter. Like you tell her to go somewhere and she's just standing there and she don't want to move, or you give her a little nudge and she takes the steps. I'm like, nah, we going over here. Like, you know, sometimes you got to be that parent and get that nudge. And it's like that with God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, you comfortable. Yeah, everything's good here, but the great is over there. And I need you to get to that great, but you're not moving towards that great. So let me shut this down real quick. But it's okay. It's going to hurt a little bit, but it's okay. Because the blessing that you're going to.
With growth, pain in every facet of our life, growth comes with pain. You know.
So I'm good, man. I'm in a good spot.
Man. Good. We got my guy back. You know, man, a lot of things going on in this new year. You know, I'm gonna just let this just be the episode, man. You know what I'm saying? I really feel that this needs to stand alone. I don't even want to touch that. It's like when
this is good. This is a good welcome back episode for this. Yeah,
absolutely. So
because we still got a show for y'all too.
Yeah. You know, I just wanted, like I said, man, I think that it's really important. I know what you dealt with. And I know how it's impacted you in terms of, you know, people don't realize sometimes it's hard to just get on a platform and just put your business out there like that. So, you know, I commend you for doing that. You know, hopefully the viewership does as well. And, you know, any outpouring support that you want to have for this individual, you want to reach out to them, go ahead, plug your stuff, man, so people can get in contact with you if they want to, you know what I mean?
So now, you know, your boy is a free agent. So, man, you can hit me up, send me a DM, like anything, man, like with this free time. And I've reached out to some coaches, man, like if any coaches out there need some film breakdown, you don't have the time, you don't just know how to, you want other eyes, send me a message. I'll send you my price and we can get to work, man. Like again, part of me growing as a coach is just becoming better with film. So I'm looking forward to the opportunities that I've already had some coaches that reached out and said that they want me to break down some of their games. So, and then anybody that's looking for a coach, and you've heard this this pod, you've heard this episode, and when you like what you hear, you like what you see, send me a message, man. Like, at this point, I'm taking any opportunity that's coming my way. I would definitely listen and look, and then, you know, I'm in no rush at this point to make a decision. You know, it's going to have to be the right opportunity now that I see that's for me and my family. But man, anything, man, like, I'm just going to, at this point, dive into basketball. Not that I wasn't, but it just allows me to be more, you know, I guess, broad with it and do a lot of things right now. So any questions, even if you want to know a little bit more about the situation, feel free to hit me up, man.
Right.
Like, I'm transparent. That's it, man. At Coach W Nelly. And that's it, man. Hit me up. And if you know something, hit me up. If you got a direction, you think something was opening up, hit me up. Or, you know, any ideas, like, I'm open ears to everything right now. So that's what it is, man.
Well, make sure that y'all, you know, tune in next week, because we got some different segments for 2021 that we think will be very interesting for you guys going forward. And, you know, man, just make sure that y'all stop by marsbball.com. You know, the collection is out. Life Without Basketball Sucks. It's out there for you. You know, take a look at that. And, you know, as the weeks progress, there's some things that I've been in, you know, taking some meetings. Your boy is taking some meetings out here. But, you know, it's some things on the horizons that I'm very excited about, and opportunities that have been presented for the merch, for the clothing line, as well as training. Listen, I offer in-season maintenance. So I'm right here in Edison, New Jersey. So if you are a high school basketball player, collegiate basketball player, anybody who's in season, and looking for an opportunity to continue to maintain your game throughout the season, which is extremely crucial and important, y'all holla at me, man. I'm open. Yes, I do start at 6 a.m. So on the weekdays, I do have kids who come in before school, take advantage of that opportunity, as well as doing some of these behind-the-scenes master classes to try to give you guys context on hoops. So that'll be coming as the season starts. I'll start on my IG lives. There'll be opportunity for you guys to log on to the IG live and just watch the breakdown of certain things that we do and explanations to try to help you guys, because I think sometimes you guys have worked and trained and worked on skills and all those things like that, but the IQ portion of knowing how to implement them is absent for many of you guys. And I think that if I provide the right context for you in terms of how to utilize these different techniques and skills that you've worked on throughout this coronavirus time, in anticipation for the season, I think it could clear up where you can utilize these things. But if you got the trainer who's been having you do 50 different moves and all that, I can't help you. I'm talking about I can't help you. If you just dribbling around a whole bunch of cones, making tween, cross behind, swing through,
tween,
you're doing all that stuff, bro. This is real basketball now. Like, this isn't the IG. This is real basketball, and we really need to understand from the training environment. Even if you are doing all of that dribbling, which the trainer may have a reason for it, you know, you still need to understand how you're going to go ahead and implement that properly to your success. So make sure, man, y'all tune in. Next week we'll be back with another episode of the Hoop Chat.
Yeah, we back. Back, baby.
We back, man. So you can go check that out on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And yeah, man, we here, man. 2021, we off to a great year. We leaving the BS behind in 2020. And we both in spaceships, man. They don't come equipped with rearview mirrors, so we only going forward. We trying to get bigger, better every day. So any questions, comments, concerns, please hit us at the Hoop Chat 247. Hit me at Mars _basketball, as well as at Coach Nelly. And we here for y'all, man. So we're going to keep providing this content of value. And hopefully some of y'all late bloomers, y'all been out there not really trying to mess with us, but you soon will. We know that too. That's why we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
And again, as you just heard, man, the most important thing is to inspire the next person to be great at whatever they choose to do. We out.
Peace.
We want to welcome everybody to the Hoop Chat. The Hoop Chat. Excited about this topic right here, dog. Let's go.
I learned how to win in college.
Process, right?
Absolutely. Separate the men from the boys. It will separate the real from the fake. It will separate the committed from the uncommitted, who really loves the game and who really don't.
Your network equals your net worth. 25 years of experience.
Like, oh man, yeah, let's get to work. Let's get to work.